Welcome to Spitfire Say Matches. I'm D Poise with my
Man, thank you for
co-host in the
having me.
building.
Fizz Ed Music in the building, your humble host.
And of course, we
Nice
got
to
Marc
be here.
Handsome in the building. And we got the man down there ain't showing his face, fellow Fleet DJ XL.
There we go. There we go.
Are you muted, X? Can't hear you, XL. You muted.
Don't be trying to hate on me, man. You know what I'm saying? You see, I just came from the gym, so you
Hey,
know what I'm
are
saying?
you trying to flex on this with the shirt off, bro? What's the with the guns? It's all good, man. Welcome, brothers, to the show. Uh, First off, man, I'm honored to have you on here, man. You got some big records. You got a big record with Jim Jones. You got a couple past big records, and shortly, we just before we came on, we was talking about your name change and your rebranding, because we were talking about a couple records that we had found on YouTube that were definitely bangers, man. That we wish we could find, but we can't find, man. You can explain exactly why those records aren't out on Spotify and streaming services out there right now?
So initially, 10 years ago, when I came into the game, the imprint was under Young Kino.
Mhm.
Um, I'm from South Central LA. I grinded very hard under that brand. Um, and like you said, I had a big catalog of records, from records with Wiz Khalifa, records with Tiger. I was on J Rock's project with the Lift Me Up with Game, the All My Life with Lil Wayne. I had records with the Federation. I mean John B. I could just go on, but the moral of the story is um, being my own representation, right? And being a South Central native, coming from an area where it's highly political, in the streets, and that being tied to music. Um, at that time, my focus was doing all these records, showing I can go here and make a collaboration with somebody, go here, I can go in this neighborhood and I'm welcome and things like that. And what I looked up to about 2 years ago was that I had this large catalog, but what was I branded? You know what I'm saying? And at that time I learned that what I had been doing was building a catalog, but what was I branding? Who am I? What do I want the people to specifically know about me?
Mm.
What vibe do I specifically want them to feel when it's me? At that time it was just about the hustle. Like, I'm on this person project, I'm on this person project. And so about 2018, I had chose to take a step back from music. Like, I had really stopped for about 2 years, right when I did the change in the name. So when you guys saw numbers, I had just did that. And with the rebrand, I understood why I was rebranding, but I still needed to really connect the music, the name, the brand, and everything to make it full circle. Kind of like, I think you could say, like I said in the interview before, like 2 Chainz did it,
Mhm.
from Titty Boy to 2 Chainz and things like that. So
Yeah.
when I decided to come back into it seriously, it was just last year, October of 2020, with the Real Love record. I understood what my fan base was. I've always had a female fan base, always made feel good records. So I needed to make the name stand with the music. You know what I'm saying? So once I did that and understood what it was, it's been up from there. So I knew when I did the Real Love how I needed to approach it. You know what I'm saying? And going from there to this, If I Like It with Jim Jones. What was I presenting? And then the rest of my catalog from here, is Double XL has had a chance to um hear them. I feel comfortable now knowing that the name and the brand is attached properly after leaving New York, which is one of the hardest markets to go into, and them guys telling Double XL, telling me, yo, you a fly dude.
Mhm.
And the whole brand was about flyness, being comfortable with being fly and not having to put, hood shit in front of me
Mhm.
because of the area I came from. and that's really what it was. Um, Forcing the people to accept what I was doing, accepting my agenda. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
conforming to what my environment's agenda is, but making my environment and other people accept what I had to contribute. You know,
Mm.
and I feel like now I'm strong enough in my craft, strong enough in my brand, strong enough in my music and delivery to stand on that and get people to accept just that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm.
So those records that you've done in the past, will those just be something left in the past, or will those ever be redone as
See, I'm
your
gonna be
your
honest,
rebrand?
man. I'm gonna be honest, man. I actually went on the Young Kino YouTube
Mm.
2 years ago and privated everything. Like I ain't even want him to exist
Oh,
no more.
heard.
Oh
But
wow.
it
Okay.
was so much done under it, like exclusive that went to World Star and things like that,
Mhm,
to where those projects are still out there. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And
Mm.
so it's nothing I could do about it. Cause even Double XL has been like, man, you know, when we go on these shows, can we reflect back? And I'm like, nah,
Oh,
right? And
Mm.
and 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 a lot of people really been like, yo, you know, them is big records. Like that
yeah,
that's a part of you.
yeah.
But what I understand, DJ Poise and Fizz music is this.
Mm.
Um, what I understood is this. I was humble enough to not let what would you call that, status and something else
Mhm,
keep me stuck to something and not feel empowered enough to do something that I envisioned to be bigger. So I,
mm.
I was willing to let those accolades go,
Okay.
because the forward movement, I see it differently. And I'm glad that I did that. Cause what is it to be 2 for 2? Like you got 2 records out and you 2 for 2,
Mhm.
then have 60 out and be 48 for 60 or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm.
I'd rather have 2 for 2 than
Two
three
for
for
two and
three.
three for three.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and,
Mhm.
and start from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's actually
Well, why?
worked for me though.
Why this particular record, this Mary J. Blige, "Real Love"? Why that? Because there's plenty of old school R&B classics that you could have chose from. Why that one in particular?
Um, so the crazy part is I got that record from a producer out of Inglewood named Disco Boogie. Um,
Mm.
and again, this was during that time where I was just like, man, I ain't finna do the music no more, whatever. And I was at a session with him where he was playing some records for some other people, and he had tapped play, and I'm like, hey, man, what's that? You know what I mean? One of them moments like, hey,
Uh,
what's that? Wait, scroll back. And
uh,
so when he scrolled back, I was just like, damn, because that was in the beginning of the pandemic,
mm,
and everybody was going through in the pandemic, like being at home, around their mate, their boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever. And if you think about how life go, you really only spend half of a day around your mate. You know what I'm saying? You might
mm,
put 8 hours in there with a day. So people now around their spouse, their boyfriend, husband, 24 hours a day, and really going through it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I just felt like during that time was the perfect time to promote Black love. You know what I'm saying? In that
Yeah.
time,
Okay.
and give us like a boost of partnership and hope, you know what I'm saying, and strength during that time. And I just wanted to reflect on what it meant to me, being that I felt like this new generation is so misguided on what real love is, because real love right now in this generation is attached to the dollar.
For real.
So
Yeah.
it really ain't love. It's like business moves. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
was just trying
Yeah.
to really show that it ain't a business move. It's a partnership.
Mm.
Hey, man, with all those collaborations that you've done, man, is there a dream collaboration that you like to do? Like, to somebody you would love to do a record with right now?
So the cold part about it is one of my dream things I just left New York doing. You know what I'm saying? It was with Jim. It was with
Wow.
Jim.
Oh, word.
Um,
That's what's up.
and yeah, it was like because I had an opportunity to work with him in 2012, right?
Mm,
It's like my favorite artist. I spoke it to existence. I left a interview with Big Boy on the radio, and he asked me if you could collaborate with anybody, who would you collaborate with?
mm,
And I said Jim Jones, right? So I
Mm.
literally left the studio that day. Left the radio station that day. Went to the studio, and I recorded a song. I did the first verse and the third verse, and I left the middle open. So my homies was like, "Who that's for?" I'm like, "I'm gonna get Jim Jones."
oh,
They
word.
like, "Bruh, you got one record out on the radio, and you think you finna, do it." But
Mm.
lo and behold, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks later, Jim was the headliner on a show downtown LA
Mm,
Mm.
that I was on. And so when I got there, some of the folks that I know, people walked me through to him, and he granted that access to come in and holler at him. And I had told him I'd done this record and I wanted him to be a part of it. I told him like my admiration for him and things like that.
mm,
And he was like, "Look, today is Wednesday. I'll be back in New York on Friday. I'm gonna do it on Saturday. You got that?" So at that Saturday, I was in Vegas that night, whatever. And when I went to sleep, I didn't have none of his vocals. I'm like, man, bro, didn't even send them to me, man. Like, dang. But I woke up
Mm.
Sunday morning and all the vocals was there in my email. Just boom, 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 boom. Right. But
Yeah.
but the tragedy was I had got my all-time dream record to collaborate with him, and I went to push off with it, and I lost a loved one in the middle of that push,
mm.
and I had to let that record go.
Mm.
So
Wow.
envisioning working with one of the artists I admired the most, I got it, and it fell through the cracks because I was going through some emotional things. So since then, in my mind, it was like, dang, I want that opportunity to happen again. And when I rebranded, did this real love thing, and got on my new journey, he was my second record. So
Mm.
if you notice, in the beginning of his verse, he goes, "First time is luck, second time is a charm."
Mm-hmm.
As his
Yeah.
verse comes on "If I Like It," see, people don't know what that meant. But he was
Mm-hmm.
like, first time was luck, second time a charm. We gonna do it. You get what I'm saying?
Uh,
So my dream
Yeah.
was to get back in communication with him, very, very tough, get a new record, and just really had that opportunity to go for the go. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Yeah.
And I grinded from last year to this year, man, and made some noise. And we got back, linked up. He did the worldwide fleet national Zoom call with me about a month ago. And on the call, he was like, "Man, we gonna get the video." I'm like, we doing the video? And once he gave that go, hey, we was in New York. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
And I went there with a purpose and a goal to work with one of my favorite artists,
Mm.
to go out there and set the bar for myself.
Mm,
And I had a goal to get get connected with Vamp. I went out there, did the thing, man, and we enjoyed ourselves. And when he shared some behind the scenes on his page, he hashtag VL/Empire because Vamp Life had just got the Empire distribution.
mm,
Mm.
So I'm like, so is he saying he gave it to me, or you know what I'm saying, or what?
uh,
And I end up getting the paperwork right after it. You
okay.
know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
That's what's
Yeah.
up.
So he jumped
Yeah.
behind it with the distribution, gave me. So right now I just did the Vamp Life Empire distribution. Um, so they'll be behind the launch of this video coming out next month,
Mm.
and we're gonna go from there. I got one more all-time player though, man. I need to do
Uh,
something with Usher, man. You know what I'm
Usher.
saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
With Ursher,
yeah.
you want to do a joint with Ursher?
Yeah, man, Usher. You know what I'm saying?
Usher.
Yeah, yeah.
How you end up with XL, man? How'd you end up XL, bro? Come on, XL,
So
come back on the screen, bro.
go ahead, XL.
Well, you know what? For a while we've been doing the West Coast Fleet DJs conference call.
Mm-hmm.
And we organically try to get the best artists that we can that represent the West Coast. And we have been looking around and we ended up hooking up with Marc. I done the call with him. The call was peace, because we was able to give him some much needed input from his area and from his hemisphere about how we felt about the music. And then on the side of that, me and him started to chat, one on one. And as we started to chat one on one, I realized that his goals and my goals are the same. We agreed that we both trying to represent the West Coast. I felt that there was a pocket that needs to be captured that
Mm-hmm.
has not really been taken over. And that spot is there. And that spot right there is a spot that Marc can take up because it's something that's different. It's not violent. The vibe is good. It's a great message, and it represents us in a way that allows us to be able to come across with a greater message, because most of the artists that have come out of the West Coast, it's mostly been about gang banging. It's mostly been about that street science, and with him, with this rebranding, the sonics are the best part about this situation, is that his sonics are correct. The melodies and the vibes that he's using are some that bring you in with that vibe to where you get to enjoy yourself, you get to party, you get a great message. And once we talked and talked more, even about where we actually come from and where we grew up at, we literally from the same general area. You know what I'm saying? So that struggle is the same as well. And he started to tell me about what he was doing, and that he was putting together a team, and he really wasn't really trying to bring nobody into that team. But when me and him met, we connected and we got a greater vibe out of what we were doing. And he asked me, hey man, you want to work together and be a part of this team? I wasn't really trying to add nobody, but you could be that final element that could really put this team, on his feet. And boom, when he told me, I accepted. And I feel like it's something that is going to go down, in another way. People don't understand that, like, we coming up, bro. We on the come up right now. So anybody who not really realizing what this music really represents, this represents us, where we come from, in a greater way, with a good message, and something that's going to transcend him into stardom in a whole nother way, to where he can represent his coast and he could bring that message that, everybody really subscribes to. It's a good vibe. It's a great message. It's a good time. So, I really rock Marc. He's a great dude. You know what I'm saying? He could tell you, how he feels about
Me
us.
and Double XL happened to link up. I went to the Fleet. I went to a Fleet conference in July in Florida, and I went out there, with my new record at the time, and I was trying to get some looks. It was a new DJ coalition that I had never been a part of. You know what I'm saying? So I went out there on my own, like my own grind, still understanding what it is to pull up. You know what I'm saying? Like, not use the social media and all that type of things, because I don't really believe that that's the full on way to get it popping. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? I still believe in, pull up. You know what I'm saying? And go touch the DJs. Show them who you are in full. Your character. Lead with that. Um, because I was conditioned from people like Big Boy, who told me, it's character before anything. Like, when you come meet people, man, half the time, if a person get to know you first, and they organically rock with you, that's the start of the opportunity. You know what I mean? He
Oh
said,
yeah.
because it's a lot of people who ain't got no talent but got that opportunity just because,
It's because
people like them as a person. You know what I'm saying? But just
Mm-hmm.
imagine if people like you as a person, and then you do got a gift to give. You know what I'm saying? That make it even better. Like
Oh
like
yeah.
like like look at Cardi B, right? People loved her for the character she was on Love and Hip Hop. And
Mm-hmm.
because they loved how raw she was, how edgy she was, when it came to her music, they like, well, we like, you know, to each his own, but they liked who she was, raw
Yeah.
and all that. They liked who she was, so they like, well, let's take a listen to the music too. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I just believed in that being the substance. So I still like to pull up, and meet people at face value, and that's what I went to do when it came to the fleet, and that's how I met Double XL and the whole entire fleet. I went out there on my own and just connected
Fleet parties, bro.
as coming back in with this new brand. I wanted to come in with this new brand with a whole coalition, and I went out there to talk business.
Right, right. Fleet parties, bro. They party harder, bro. And I hope you didn't go to sleep because you might end up on camera somewhere.
Man, nah, look, man,
Drunk.
He
look,
was everywhere. He was everywhere.
yeah, yeah. I was there, man. Let me tell you, man, I got there. Actually, I was in Florida before the fleet was in Florida. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying? I
okay,
was in Florida before the fleet was in Florida. You know
okay.
what I'm saying? And I was there a day after they left. That's
Oh,
how
it
serious
was
I was.
working. It was working.
Yeah.
I really wanted to talk more about this Let's Get Together, the joint with Wiz Khalifa. How did
Oh
that all
shit.
come together? And I wanted to know, how did you how was it working with the Wise Khalif? What was up with that?
So that was actually the record that made me something.
Yeah.
Shouts out to my boy Hood Rat Miguel was the on air personality at Power 106 at that time. He
Mm.
created a show called the Cali Love Show, where it gave an hour from 9 to 10 p.m., an hour of all unsigned West Coast artists to get heard on
Mm.
on major radio. If you had a good record, you had your mix down and all that, he gave it an opportunity for a lot of us to get in. It was something that paved the way for me, Problem, Glasses Malone,
Wow.
J Rock, Kendrick, all of us that was from the West Coast.
Wow. Yeah, there was big
Spider,
names you just dropped there.
Spider Loc. I
Wow.
mean the list goes on. And he gave us an opportunity, man, and I happened to slide in a record that uh ended up making it top 30 on the playlist. I had
Mm.
90 markets with my first record. 90 markets, man. With
Ah,
no
okay.
deal, or nothing. That was a time where E-Man put me on a high school tour, showed me how you work a record, man. You start with the youth, and I did that, man. Listen, my grind was so hard at that time, right? When we went to the first high school, you got two sides of the gym, right?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think I think one side and one corner was rocking with me when I first started, right?
Mm.
And by the end of this tour, it was where the bleachers was running up to me.
Yeah.
But it happened, but it happened because I used to go get papers printed from Kinko's, right?
Mm.
My
Uh,
face, let's get together, text 69106. And I would stand at the end of the gym after the game was over and pass it out to every single kid and sign on it. Paper. I'm talking about
yeah.
Kinko paper, not no 4x6 now and the card and the cue card and the scan and the barcode. I'm talking about the Xerox machine. You know what I'm saying? Copy
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
500
yeah.
and just handed one out and signing on
Mhm.
all of them. And Felly and them would tell me like, man, we just got 500 texts right now for your song. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Because they would know I was at the game. You know what I'm saying? They would
Yeah,
know I was at the high school game. And
yeah. That was smart. That was smart. That was smart.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I come from an era, man, where you gotta show up. You gotta show up. You gotta show somebody you
Yeah.
serious about what you're doing. You go shake the DJ's hands. You go shake these men who giving you an opportunity. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And you show them support just like you asking for. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as far as Double XL concerned, they wanted to do the Zoom call with me initially because it went from the West Coast Zoom call to the national Zoom call where I had their East Coast branch, West, South, and everything. And I pulled up to Double XL in them station, like, man, to the studio.
Mm.
And they was like, you want to pull up to the studio? So they had never done it up to the studio. I'm like, yeah, man, we in the West Coast. Why I'm gonna get on the phone? You feel what I'm saying?
He's right here in my neighborhood.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I pulled up, and it was their first time, having that experience with somebody pulling up and doing the Zoom call from there. And after that, we just built, man. We built, and like he said, we had a mutual understanding, which was um to bring something new to the West Coast in general.
Mhm.
I wanted to break into the market um, through a coalition, but I also wanted to be something quality that a coalition can break into the market. So,
Mhm.
like you said, we had a mutual goal, and that's what happened.
Okay. Well, I got one last question, man. What were you like as a child, man? Were you into hip hop? Were you
I was
little around performing in the living room or
hell no, I was trying to
comedian?
be hell no, I was trying to be a Laker.
Laker.
Oh,
Okay.
you a bowler. You a
Yeah,
bowler.
man, look, all I knew was Magic Johnson.
Magic. Oh
Man,
wow. Go way
man,
back,
That's
don't you?
so good.
yeah, man, I was trying to be a Laker for real, man. You couldn't tell
Ah,
me.
see?
Ah!
Oh, look, yeah,
Like, oh, there it is.
yeah. You couldn't tell me. You couldn't tell me I wasn't finna hoop. You know what I mean? That's all I knew. You know what I'm saying? And uh, but then I got to college and learned that 6'2" wasn't that popular. You know what I'm saying? Like, because 6'2" is an average height. So
Yeah.
the statistics was like, man, you want to go to the lead and sit with eight people the same height as you, battling for that opportunity. Because they wanted 6'6" and up. They wanted 6'6" and up. You know what I
Wow.
mean?
Yes.
So so I just had to look at what I wanted life to pan out like, and I switched courses after that.
Oh, okay. You still ball? Still
Yeah,
ball around for fun? Okay, that's your hobby, spare
yeah.
time hobby.
Man, when I can though, because right now, man, I've been so embedded into this new rollout, man.
Mm,
When you finally feel like you touch what you've been trying to touch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, the excitement of being in the element that you've been trying to touch, it,
mhm,
it drive you so much, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a person that ever could say or was ever cocky enough as an artist to be like, oh, my stuff popping.
mhm,
I never had that. I was one of them that always stayed listening for the feedback, the feedback, the feedback. And it wasn't until Real Love and this record that people was like, yo, you got it sonically correct. You
mhm,
know, with that
Yeah.
12 bar verse, not 16s no more, getting back to the hook where the people waiting to hear that hook. And
mhm,
you got that rhythmic sound where you put the singer on, and and things like that. And these last two records, man, I haven't had no hate. Like, and you
Mm.
always get that one DJ that go, well, you could have did, and you be like, bruh, like, you always get that
Yeah.
one.
Everybody's a critic.
Right, which is
Yeah.
cool, right? And
Mm.
I'm not gonna say like, but what I'm saying is, you know, through God, because that's who make everything possible.
Yeah, yeah,
I guess I finally got the science right, and getting the science right from being a student for so long, going through DJs like y'all, and touching so many people to hearing what it is that people feel is a hit record, you know,
Yeah.
and finally landing in that space. When you land in that space, you don't feel like, okay, I'm good, I done ride. Now you like, well, shit, let's go. You know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah,
more on go. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
man, I appreciate, man, you coming on. I know you a busy man, so we don't want to take up too much more of your time. But man, we do want to end out the show with your record with Jim Jones. And
yeah, yeah.
as
Okay.
always, man, you got Ohio's fleet support. You know what I'm
Let,
saying?
let me let me
Thank you.
introduce this. Let me introduce this record.
Hey, we gonna
Oh,
let Double XL introduce it, and I'm gonna tell you
okay.
why. I'm gonna
Well,
tell you why. Hey, because I got to give y'all some more laughs since y'all in a good space, right? We gonna we gonna let him introduce it because the boy came out to New York as my road manager. I looked up. He was also holding the cameras for the directors, and you know what I'm saying. The boy became part of the camera crew. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so we gonna also give him this announcement role because he doing it all. You know what I'm saying. So I might need him as a hype man one day. So this is hype man.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen, y'all look out for that video because that video.
It was one other thing, man. Your social media, man. Before we let him introduce, give out that for everybody so they can catch up with you and find you.
Social media is on being Marc Handsome, BeingMarc Handsome. Um, that's what it is across the board. From IG to Facebook. Also the web page is up too now, so that's going. And I appreciate y'all for having me, man, on the show today. Man.
Salute, bro.
It's a blessing.
Oh, man,
Oh,
salute.
man,
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you, man.
you. All right. What you got, Exel?
Yo, it's your boy DJ Double XL, and we live and direct right here with D Poise. Man, if I like it, featuring Jib Jones. Let's go.
There it is.
All right. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, man.
All right, man.
Later.
Without.
Hey.
Mhm.
Excel, you about to get me shot, bro. Throwing up them damn gang signs.
Hey, man, that's West Coast all day, every day, my dude. You heard?
I'm just messing with you.
Mhm.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all, man.
Man, thank you, man.